We've got the memo, we've got the hair and goatee memo today. My twin brother, my stunt double I see over there.
You're the much more handsome, talented of that twin pair, but I'll take the compliments where I can get them. I'm here with Daniel Macpherson, the star of Beast. Yeah, this was a cool movie. I would ask how you got brought into this project, but the last movie I saw you in was The Land of Bad, also with Russell Crowe. So I imagine that has something to do with it.
That's exactly right. The writer of Land of Bad was a guy called David Frigerio, and he said, "Hey guys, I've watched you guys work together the last couple of weeks on Land of Bad. You guys are really good together. I've got this MMA project that I think you'd be perfect for." So that was back in 2022, and I started training straight away because it was a great script. It was a great role. It was originally set in upstate New York, and then just as it evolved, it became an Australian story, and Tyler Atkins, the director, came on, and we knew a lot more about what it was like to grow up as a fighter in Australia, in some of the some working class kind of steel towns of Australia. And we knew a lot more about that than we did anything about Buffalo, New York. So it ended up back in Australia, and then Russell agreed to come on board. A great Australian cast was assembled. And then we teamed up with One Championship to take the filming and the final fight sequences up to Bangkok and to really just elevate the production level and to give us this kind of neon Southeast Asian sort of streetscape that is also steeped in martial arts history and martial arts culture. And the result is what you've seen. And we're really proud of it, man.
Yeah, it's a real physical role and emotional one because it's got that kind of Rocky aesthetic. You come for the fights, but there's always the drama element to it as well. But as tough as the emotional scenes have to be, I mean, the workout scenes and the fight scenes are one thing. I saw you doing the punching, the push-ups and all that. I'm like, I'd see that in the script and be like, not for me. I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, I was 44, 43 when I was shooting. This was only 12 months ago. But as I said, I was training for 3 years. It took us 3 years to get this thing up and running. And I'd kind of lost. I got into fight shape 3 times. I'd lost 20 pounds 3 times. Then finally, the third time the cameras actually rolled. But look, when Russell Crowe says, "Hey, man, we're going to do a fight movie and you're going to play the lead and I'm going to play your coach and we're going to do it," you give it absolutely everything, man. So I trained as hard as I could with the best coaches I could, boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and MMA. And I got myself as the lowest body fat I could possibly get to at this stage in my life. And then by the same token, and then I had to work opposite Bren Foster, who's an extraordinary martial artist, 10-time or more world champion, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu black belt, and everything else. But then had to turn around and act opposite one of the greatest of all time, one of the all-time heavyweights in Russell Crowe. So it tested every area of my skill set, that's for sure.
I don't think I've heard I've heard of people like talking about training for a role like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, for example, his diet and all that. But what's that? You said you got in fighting shape 3 times. What's that like in your personal life? Because, hey guys, are we doing this movie or not? Because that cheeseburger looks really good.
Well, totally, man. And so thankfully, and there was definitely the movie gods of divine intervention, but thankfully every time this kind of film went on again or off again, I wasn't ready anyway. I wasn't going to be able to pull it off. I wasn't experienced enough. I didn't have the stature. It took every part of 3.5 years to grow into the character and the actor and the stature that this role needed. So I'm incredibly grateful for that. But yeah, prior to this, we were almost given up on it. And I went off and toured a play. I toured a 2-man play around Australia for 5 months during winter. And that is not conducive to getting in fight shape whatsoever. 8 shows a week, 2 hours on stage, just the two of you. So I came out of Australian winter in August and they said, "Hey, I think we're on in November." I was like, "Are we on?" Because like third strike and we're all walking away. And I was like, "No, we're on." So I had to set about, much like the movie, they're like, "You got 10 weeks, let's go." And so the cheeseburgers certainly went out the window, bro.
I mean, I guess on the other hand, it's got to be a good side of that coin too, because you got 3 years to sit with that character and like really delve into it. Were there some things like when you shoot that maybe like during that 3 years or like think, I'm going to do this and this is what the character is. And then when you get to shooting, it's, you know what? Ideas change. We're doing this now.
Oh, totally. And life changes. You change in 3 years. The person you were 3 years ago, I'm sure is a little different to the one that turns up today. I was a father. I became a father at 40. And so fatherhood and my son growing up affected me and life and career and going back I did 2 plays during that time and they both evolved me as an actor as well. And it was my 3rd film with Russell Crowe. So I'd evolved in my relationship with him, and our on-screen kind of working relationship had evolved as well. And it was, I mean, it was a perfect storm for me to really land at the timing that we did, where I was in my personal life, the work that I put in for this role, and the story and the character I was ready to create on a film like Beast from the very front and lead the way. I was ready, man. And so I put everything I possibly could into it, because you never know when these opportunities are going to come again, and they're so precarious. They nearly fell over again for a third time, like right before we rolled a camera. So incredibly grateful and respectful, and just lucky that we got on set to make it at all. So you give it everything you got.
What were some, obviously without spoilers, but what were some things that maybe changed from the script, from like when you first read it to when you shot it to now the movie's done?
The level of heart in the film really evolved as it went on. Tyler Atkins had a vision in his mind of what this film was, and thankfully it was similar to mine as well. It was, for me, it was always the family dynamic. It was the responsibility of the father and the husband and the little core nucleus of the family against the rest of the world. That really interested me. And realistically, you could tell that story against any sporting backdrop, because this guy's competing for his family and his life and whatnot. But you tell it against the visceral nature of the biggest sport in the world right now, and the most brutal sport in the world right now. You take a fight movie into a whole new realm. So, but yeah, the relationships that evolved, the relationship with my brother evolved. Majon Aria really brought a lot to that character, and we found that a really rich place to mine. And so that relationship started to take up more and more complexity and space on screen. Kelly Gale as my wife was extraordinary, and that relationship really grew in the edit and on screen. So yeah, a lot of those really special relationships really grew, and it elevated, I think, the end of the film, because you know what those punches mean now. You know what's at stake. You know what this guy's fighting for, and it's as much for himself and his future and his identity and his purpose, and to right his past wrongs, as it is for all the people that are supporting him.
Excellent. Well, Beast comes out April 10th in theaters. Go watch it in theaters. That would be a fun one, especially that final fight.
Man,
Before I let you go,
the sound, you need to hear it, and it's the big thumping soundtrack out there.
definitely that. But before I let you go, I just want to get a film recommendation from you, either a movie that's real personal to you or a movie this one's really good and not enough people talk about it.
Oh man, that's a great one. So many buddies, so many people I could think about. What do I love? What do I love? Go back and watch, one of mine, but go back and watch Infinity. Shayna Best made it. He's an extraordinary filmmaker. He launched my film career. He launched Luke Hemsworth did an amazing job. Bren Foster's in it as well. That was kind of one of our origin stories. It's called Infinity.
Excellent. Well, Daniel, thanks for joining me. You've been a pleasure. And yeah, congratulations on Beast.
Cheers, buddy. Great to chat.